Hello guys, and welcome to another video, and today I will be discussing my predictions for WarioWare Get It Together with Demeech and Ty the Guy. So, yeah, what are your initial predictions for WarioWare Get It Together?
I think it's going to be the game of the year on the Switch for me.
Yeah, I'm
I
really
think,
looking forward to it, and I do think it's going to be one of the best games for me this year.
Yeah, I
I
have
think
good
it's.
faith that it's. They're going.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a really fun WarioWare game, and I think the first one that I get on launch in a while. I think the last one I actually got on launch was DIY, which was years ago. But it's gonna be nice having a new WarioWare in my hands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I recently played through WarioWare Gold last month, and that game was really fun. And I think that's basically the ultimate WarioWare game because it basically has all different types of micro games, and it has just like a lot of content in it, and it's kind of shows the history of the series with all of the different micro games and everything, and it's really cool.
yeah, that's essentially
WarioWare
what
Ultimate.
WarioWare Gold is. It's pretty much the ultimate WarioWare game. You're getting most of the micro games from the series. You're also getting a few new ones, although there aren't that many of them. But it takes advantage of all the past WarioWare games by having the mash game with the buttons, the one with the touch controls, and of course the ones with the gyroscope. And it was very cool getting it. It's definitely a sleeper hit on the 3DS. I know it'll be seen as one of the best games on the system within the near future. But I'm very glad we're getting an actual new WarioWare on the Switch because I gotta be honest, it's been quite some time since we've had a traditional WarioWare game.
Yeah,
WarioWare DIY, I mean, yeah, it did have a selection of micro games, and who could forget Jimmy T's micro games with Body Rock? I mean, TNT didn't like playing through them, but I like to. And that was more of a Super Mario Maker equivalent to WarioWare, except you had a lot more freedom with that game. I could go on about that all day. Probably I could go on about it longer than you go on about Paper Mario, Reese. And then we have Game and Wario, which it really wasn't WarioWare. It was a collection of mini games with a Wario theme. Some of the mini games are good, some of them are mediocre, but it was a very experimental title, and it's kind of the black sheep of the WarioWare franchise. And then WarioWare Gold is pretty much just WarioWare Ultimate. So in a sense, this is the latest new WarioWare game since Smooth Moves in their traditional sense, which was 2006 or 2007.
yeah, and it's actually, like I said in my other WarioWare discussion, it's basically the first game since then that's actually doing something new and actually innovating the formula, because like each game has its like own gimmick to it, and this one is actually doing that again, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, like in this game, you actually get to control the characters in the micro games. So we're gonna start off by talking about other playable characters that they didn't announce yet. And my first prediction for that is Penny, since we didn't see her at all in the first trailer or treehouse of the game.
I would
Yeah,
agree with
I
you
was
there.
very surprised about that.
Yeah, I think most of the mainstay WarioWare characters will be here. I think they're just kind of saving face for, just for people to actually unlock something that's surprising to them, you know? But yeah, I think that's kind of a given. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Maybe Jimmy P?
isn't Jimmy T already a playable character?
Oh no, I'm talking about his twin brother from WarioWare. Was it WarioWare
Smooth
Smooth Moves?
Hmm. Oh, I
He
didn't
could
play
be.
smooth moves, so
So if you don't know who Jimmy P is, he's essentially the Miami Vice Jimmy T. If Jimmy T represents Vegas, then Jimmy P is Miami, if you get what I'm saying.
yeah.
And instead of rescuing cats from the rain, Jimmy P rescues dogs. And he's a really cool character, but I was also thinking, what if they do the unthinkable and have Waluigi as a playable character, but maybe in a weird sort of sense where it's like a Waluigi in a way. like it's Wario's interpretation of Waluigi, and he's the playable character.
Yeah,
Kind of like
Have they?
or
yeah. My idea for a playable Waluigi, or Waluigi appearing in WarioWare in general, he'll kind of have like a different style, kind of like how Wario does, like how he has a different
Right.
outfit and everything. Then I think that would be really cool to actually see Waluigi.
my
That's like the
God.
perfect secret character. Like, let's say you just beat the game and then Waluigi just appears out of nowhere. Like, I mean, that's actually a possibility, knowing how, like, things can be in, like, WarioWare, especially with WarioWare Gold with the cutscenes in that game.
you know what I would also predict?
What?
So you know how WarioWare is definitely the game of what the heck is going on? Like I remember I was watching your stream, Ty the guy, about your playthrough of WarioWare Smooth Moves, and you were in the
Right.
Star Fox section of 9 Volts micro games, thinking it was just, oh, it's Star Fox on the Wii! And then you see who the boss is, and it's literally Rob with a zapper, and you have to shoot at the blocks, which were used in the game Stack Up. What if the Virtual Boy is an unlockable character?
That would
'Cause
actually
if
be
you think
really
about
cool.
The
That would be
Virtual
really
Boy
funny.
would be a perfect character. I mean, it already has legs.
And
It can
and
shoot
it has a
lasers
lot of
at
connection
him.
to Wario, too, with, like, Wario Land being the best game on the system.
In fact, I would say Wario Land's the only reason to get a Virtual Boy.
You know what? I'm gonna make a prediction. So I think Waluigi is a really great choice. Would Nintendo do it? I don't know, but what about Captain Syrup from the Wario Land series? I know it's a little out there, but Waluigi kind of is too. So, is it possible that we can get some more love and representation from other Wario titles?
Yeah,
So the thing with that,
I think that
is,
would
like-
be really interesting, but I'll let Demeech go on.
it would be interesting, but Nintendo likes to separate the Wario Land and the WarioWare series. There really hasn't been any elements, except for some of the micro games being based on Wario Land.
Well, there is
Oh.
in WarioWare Get It Together that was already confirmed. I think the shoulder bash will be one of Wario's moves that he can use in the micro games since he plays the characters in the micro games. So I think that
That's true.
so they're actually taking that from Wario Land, which is pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
but other than that, you don't really see many elements from the Wario Land series. In fact, the only Wario Land crossover game was oddly enough in Dr. Mario 64, which was pretty much Dr. Mario meets Wario Land. It's a very weird game, but a very good one at that. But I wouldn't expect to see Captain Syrup.
So I think we
But-
could also
Happen.
see. I think we could also see maybe like another WarioWare character too that we didn't mention, like Joe, or even like one of the newer ones, like 13 Amp, because I saw in one of the cutscenes in the Nintendo Treehouse that 13 Amp showed up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I
she
could
was first
definitely-
and gold.
I could definitely see it. Do you guys think? Okay. Now for wildcard predictions for characters, do you think other Nintendo franchise reps will be in this game, such as, let's say, Link or Kirby or Fox McCloud or Mario? Do you guys think that might happen?
You know, the only
I
way
don't
I could
think
see
so.
the only way I could see those characters being in the games at all, other than micro games, is that one amiibo painting thing. Maybe we'll do like a version of that in
Ooh.
this. I know we could talk about that more when we talk about different modes, but we'll come
Right.
back to that. And now let's go into micro game predictions. So my first prediction is Kablooey. No, I'm just kidding. But
You're giving me flashbacks, man. Don't do that.
yeah, that was awful. But the first prediction that I have is a pretty predictable one, knowing that it's from me, and I've actually had this idea ever since I played WarioWare Gold. And since these games are both developed by Intelligent Systems, I think it's possible that we could see a Paper Mario micro game. I had to say it. But my idea is basically either, like, I actually have two ideas, one from the Thousand Year Door and one from Origami King. Basically, the first one is where you have to hold back the hammer with the action command from the game to hit an enemy, and then basically it will go faster when it like the micro games go faster and everything. And then with the Origami King idea, you basically have to slide the rings to get the enemies in line, kind of like how you do that in battle in that game, and then it just gets harder each time.
See, that's what I was thinking of too. Because if they were to do a Paper Mario micro game, they would probably go the ring route of Origami King. Not just because it's a newer game, but I honestly think it's a pretty good setup for a micro game. But
Yeah.
it seems like when it comes to the micro game predictions, a lot of them are Nintendo themed, and a lot of people remember the Nintendo themed micro games because let's be real, they're some of the most fun and most memorable. Seeing Mario Clash be one of the micro games, I'll never forget. Also, that's the only opportunity you have to play Virtual Boy on the 3DS. So, I wanted to kind of cover, micro games that I'd expect to see. I'll do a few Nintendo ones, but also I really wanted to focus on Wario micro games because there are definitely the weird ones out there that I have ideas for. So, would you like me to give my predictions first, and then we can get to you?
We'll have you do your predictions first. I have a lot of them too, but we'll just let you go first.
All right. So for the Nintendo ones, we've already seen Super Mario Land. I think they're gonna go to more obscure games like they have in the past. They've referenced stuff like the Color TV game 6, which was pretty much Nintendo's answer to Pong. They really have referenced everything. So maybe we could possibly see a Radar Scope micro game. They could do something for Donkey Kong, but again, Nintendo cares more about Groose than Donkey Kong. But
Or maybe we'll have a Groose micro game.
There might be a Skyward Sword micro game. I'm not sure, and it could. No, it's just strike a pose and it's with Groose. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But
don't jinx it.
I was also thinking GameCube nostalgia is a really big thing right now. So maybe we could see a reimagining of the Mario Sunshine-like micro game, where you're putting out fires, except it might be a little bit different this time around. And I had this idea. Do you think we could see maybe some third parties, like a Pac-Man micro game or a Sonic micro game? Because Nintendo has had third-party collaborations outside of Smash, like with the costumes in Mario Kart and Yoshi's Woolly World. But I'm not sure if that'll happen here.
I think we'll
Just
get.
a wild card.
There's a lot of Nintendo franchises that haven't been represented in WarioWare, so I'm thinking like some of my ideas for like some of those is like maybe a Kirby micro game or a Pokemon micro game, because those, or even like Earthbound, because those games really haven't shown up yet. Because I'm not sure if it's due to like licensing and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure if these games can be represented in a lot of other Nintendo games other than Smash, I don't think it's outside of the possibility that we could see like a Kirby micro game or even like a Pokemon micro game. One of my Pokemon micro game predictions that I have is basically like a Pokemon Snap micro game that it would be like, it would probably make sense if they do Snap 64. Basically, there would be like a bunch of Pokemon on screen and it just tells you to take a picture of a specific one. If you take the other one, you'll take a picture of the other Pokemon, you'll lose, so you just have to take a picture of a specific one. So that's basically the idea I had for a Pokemon minigame, or a micro game, and then the Kirby one is basically Kirby tries to suck up all of the characters, since you can control the characters on the micro games, and basically you have to try to avoid Kirby and avoid a bunch of obstacles on the screen.
So in terms of other characters or third-party IPs, like you were saying, I feel like that would be a WarioWare game in of itself, if you get what I mean. Like that would be a whole focus of a totally other WarioWare.
It would be
game.
like WarioWare or WarioWare Multiverse or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I could definitely see it, Demeech. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if this is what we're getting right now. And also, I think part of the charm of WarioWare does come from the fact that there's this weird world and weird characters doing their own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not opposed to it. I would say for I don't have a lot of micro game predictions, but I would like to see a Super Mario Odyssey one. Maybe one where like Mario's throwing Cappy and you have to avoid him before he gets before you get hit.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas for Super Mario Odyssey. One is where you have to try to land the Odyssey in like a certain place. Basically, you have to try the maybe like push it to try to land correctly or not fall off. And then another one I have is like the stack the Goombas, kind of like how you stack Goombas up when you capture a Goomba in Super Mario Odyssey. But yeah, I think there's definitely a possibility that we could see like a lot of Nintendo Switch themed micro games, because like we did see in the Treehouse that they had like a Fire Emblem Three Houses themed micro game. That kind of I think maybe a Paper Mario the Origami one is has a better chance now because they are representing intelligent systems. So I think we could also see maybe like an Animal Crossing New Horizons one. I know we did see a New Leaf themed one, but there is a possibility we can get like another one like that too.
So that micro game, would they release part of the micro game and then update it later to be finished?
Well, knowing Nintendo, that makes sense.
I'm just kidding. I have good faith in Intelligent Systems in developing this game and launching it complete. I've noticed that mainly the fix-it-later approach applies to Camelot games, so I'm not really worried about this game. But I did want to bring up what G&D was saying about the weird world of WarioWare games. There is one thing on Twitter that I miss. I was getting news about WarioWare Get It Together, and it turns out that the game is rated E10 because there's literally a micro game where you have to pretty much scoop poop out of a cat's litter box. What more of a Wario thing to do than have a micro game like that? And of course, there's going to be... Of course, there's going to be the obligatory WarioWare nose-picking micro game. You're going to see a lot of stuff like that. You're going to see just the crude humor the series is known for. And I think it's going to be really cool seeing what they do. Knowing that there's a cat poop micro game is hilarious already. Because I think the only other one we got was the one where in WarioWare Twisted, where you have to guide the food down to go out the right way. Kind of reminds me of that Adventure Time episode with the bears, only it lasts for a fraction of a second.
So one idea
Reese, if you never saw that episode, pretty much the plot is that Finn and Jake are stuck in a monster's belly, and there are a bunch of bears partying there, and they are trying to warn them to get out, and they have to go out the other exit.
So, you mentioned that the Mario Clash micro game. So I had an idea for a Virtual Boy Wario Land micro game. I think that would be really cool.
God, that would be awesome.
That would be very cool indeed. I did see the Mario Land micro game, so I played also WarioWare Smooth Moves, so that one had the original WarioWare or Wario Land as a micro game. But Virtual Boy Wario Land would be cool. It's also in widescreen already, so they wouldn't have to make any adjustments. But you know what? If you bring up Virtual Boy Wario Land, we'll be talking about it non-stop.
You know what third-party IP could make sense for a 9-volt micro game? Bomberman.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think because that was actually the only other launch title worth getting on the Switch.
Yeah, I think Bomberman would make a lot of sense. I don't know how Konami is with their IPs. I was also going to say maybe Frogger. That's also Konami. Just a lot of classic franchises would be cool, but I just don't see Nintendo going out of their way to do that.
Yeah, so another thing with like how you play these micro games, I have a few ideas for like micro games where you actually have to do something like you're not, because like in the past you'd usually control something in the game that it was based on, but I have like a few things where you actually assist something in the game, kind of like how you play as the separate characters in the micro games. Like I have an idea for Super Mario 64 where you have to try to awake the mad piano that try to attack Mario, and then
I'll go on, Reese.
And another one is to you have to terraform in Animal Crossing New Horizons with the characters in WarioWare get it together to try to get a villager up a hill.
These are all good ideas. Maybe they should hire you to make a new WarioWare game.
Nintendo hired this man.
I was gonna say, for Super Mario 3D All Stars micro game, there could be a micro game where it's 2 players, it's a 4x3 screen, and you two just have to stretch it out to 16:9. And that's the micro game. 4x3. Sorry, bad joke. Demeech, how about you?
So what was the question?
So, do you have any other micro game ideas?
Well, I've gone over the crude stuff already, like the already confirmed cat litter box micro game, the obligatory nose picking micro game. But if we're talking about, WarioWare micro games, those are very hard to predict because what makes WarioWare so interesting is just how wacky and bizarre everything is. So I guess we can kind of go on the Nintendo route again. Maybe they've already done a lot for franchises, but with the multiplayer aspect, I don't know if someone already mentioned the Mario Brothers micro game, but there is one in WarioWare and WarioWare Gold where you have to get a coin, but I think one, like a 2-player one where you cooperate, that could work too. Like, knock the showkeeper off the screen.
Yeah.
So that was another idea I had. So maybe there's going to be a co-op mode. And should we get into modes? Because I think we've discussed micro games quite a bit. And when it comes to WarioWare, it's known for the modes. It's known for having a lot of replay value. And I'm pretty much an expert when it comes to WarioWare. So one of the things the series does is there are a lot of unlockables, such as in WarioWare Gold, there were a ton of unlockable games you could get. Of course, Pyoro, Super Pyoro, stuff like that. It's the game with the bird. It's also on DSiWare as a standalone game called Bird and Beans. Yeah. So I would expect to see something like that along with other micro games. We could see a Wario parody of, like a Zelda game or something like that, considering it's the anniversary of the series.
Yeah,
they had Dr. Wario in the first WarioWare game.
Didn't they have like some kind of Metroid thing in one of the WarioWare games?
I'm not sure if they had a Metroid thing.
Actually,
but they did.
Yeah, I think they had something called this one where it's like, I think it's called like Mutroid or something like that, where you play as a cat, and it's kind of based on Metroid. Imagine if they have
that's actually a thing.
Yeah, imagine if they have a Mutroid Dread.
Now I know what you're talking about. Also, just with the actual mini games you're getting out of WarioWare as unlockables, as I was saying, of course there was Dr. Wario, but there could always have other stuff too. There are just a lot of ideas for potential mini games that you could unlock. There's also probably records you could unlock to listen to the music of the game, and gallery featuring concept artwork. The WarioWare games are packed with content.
Yeah.
It's something that has always been a good thing when it comes to Nintendo games.
Do you think they could?
Or WarioWare games.
Do you think they could bring back a Amiibo mode, kind of like how they have the Amiibo paintings in WarioWare Gold?
So with the Amiibos, it's been a little bit weird because Nintendo hasn't been very consistent. They had them in Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, but all it gave you was a power-up. They could do that as an extra side mode, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't bring it back.
Imagine if they actually had like a micro game, like where you just tap the Amiibo on. Like it would obviously be in like a separate mode, but you'd just play that micro game. Basically, you'd have to tap the Amiibo or do something like with the controllers. I think that would be really cool. I think they could also do like maybe completely separate micro games from the main mode too, or I'm not sure if there's anything like that in WarioWare Gold, but I think they could maybe have like a different play style or something like that. So, or maybe just a mini game too, like maybe some kind of Amiibo mini game, where you, it would obviously have to be kind of limited and not just do something for any Amiibo, but I think it would be cool to have something Amiibo related as like a mode or something, maybe even like involving gameplay.
Yeah, I would say so too. But like I said with WarioWare, the fun of it is that it's super unpredictable. Maybe they'll have a mini game with buffaloes where Wario is a cowboy. That would be pretty funny to see. But I really don't have any other predictions
But
when it comes to the side modes.
I have a prediction. How about online multiplayer? How do you think that would work if they implemented it into the game?
Poorly, because Nintendo uses servers from 1998. Okay, in all
I was
seriousness,
gonna say, yeah, go on.
it will probably work like the local multiplayer, but online, kind of like what 3D World did.
Yeah.
You know what mode I would really like, but I know that they're not putting it in? On DIY mode. I really want that to come back again someday in the future. WarioWare
me
DIY
too.
is like one of my favorite games of all time. If they could just evolve that concept, like, okay, in the original game you can make games, music, and comics, right? What if they
Yeah.
expand upon that? What if you could do even more? And what if the things that were there before are like, you could do more with them? Ah, man, I don't know. I just
Here's the
it's
problem.
wishful thinking.
The idea is great, but the Switch maybe isn't the best platform for it because it doesn't really have a dedicated stylus, and the touchscreen is completely different. Like, with the DS, you got the stylus that was like an actual pen, but when it comes to the Switch stylus, it's like completely different with like a soft point at the end where you can kind of use it. And a lot of people weren't very happy about how they handled Mario Maker and making levels on the Switch. But they could do it. I just really don't see it happening.
They could
Although
always.
they did have it.
They
They
could.
did have the Smash Bros. Stage builder.
Yeah.
So it could
Yeah.
happen.
They
And
could
they did
always
it-
do. I know this is highly unlikely. I mean, the one, like a DIY mode in itself is pretty unlikely. But I mean, like, they could always do the, USB mouse controllers or
That's what I
mouse
was gonna
support
say.
as they did in, Game Builder Garage.
Yeah, they could do
Yeah, they
that.
could
if,
do
if
that.
they really wanted to, but it's just wishful thinking. I don't see them doing it anytime soon. But man, I wish, in all honesty, I wish WarioWare DIY was the future of the franchise. Like that was a step. They read the future because creating is such a big part of like a lot of popular games today, like Super Mario Maker and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But I think this wraps up my predictions.
Yeah.
Do you have any others, TNG and Reese?
Yeah, that was basically all of my predictions. I'm really looking forward to this game, and I know, like, from what I've seen of it so far, it looks really good.
And the
Yeah.
best part is, it's only a little over a month away, which I'm very excited about. Because the cool thing about Nintendo games now is you don't have to wait years for them, usually at least, for them to be announced and then launched. It's just like, oh my gosh, WarioWare's already here. So in the meantime, I'll be enjoying myself some WarioWare Twisted and the one on the Game Boy Advance, the original, since that one I didn't really play. Although I have played Twisted, I just love that game so much. And I do plan on ranking the WarioWare games very soon. So I enjoyed doing this discussion. It's a series I'm very passionate about. And you know, I have good faith in Intelligent Systems that this game will be great. I'm not sure how you guys feel, but, you know, most definitely I am picking up this game, and it's only $50,
Yeah.
which I'm surprised about.
I feel
And
like,
I'm not complaining though.
yeah, I feel like Nintendo lately, like, even though there's games like Skyward Sword HD that are overpriced and that are $60, I feel like Nintendo is starting to see that these games are too expensive and not everyone is gonna buy a game that's $60. I feel like it's just now catching on because they priced Miitopia at $50 and they could have easily priced that game at $60. So I feel like it's getting better.
Yeah, it's getting a bit better, for sure at least, but until
Yeah.
now, Skyward Sword HD is definitely not worth $60, but WarioWare definitely is worth $60, I would say. But it's very cool they're selling it for $50. They also did that for Game & Wario, which was only $30.
Yeah, so is that all the predictions that we have?
I think that's all I have on my side. I'm just really excited to play this game. You know, I've been saving up for a new WarioWare for a while. The only thing I need to do, yeah, the only thing I have to do is just try and save up and try to get my Joy-Cons fixed.
Yeah, I would say so. Or yeah, you could send your Joy-Cons into Nintendo, but in the meantime, I have a really annoying piece of fruit bothering me right now that I'm gonna go put in a blender. He's an orange, and he's making really stupid jokes that only he is laughing at. He's also telling me about something about, you know, a Mario Kart thing, which I don't even want to know about.
Wow. Well,
So-
I think this about wraps it
Yeah.
up, right, Reese?
So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
See ya, guys.
Peace.